Okay, so I am recording now. All right, I just muted one of you. There was a really bad echo. So for right now, I'm going to pin my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So welcome everyone to the Kimberbell, wrong class. Welcome everyone to the ScanNCut vinyl. I noticed one of you have your hand raised. Did you want to ask a question before we get started? You're welcome to ask questions through the chat. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Do you have a price for the vinyl kit?
These little vinyl sample kits were $10. I'm not sure. Oh, the big one.
Yeah.
All right, so pricing I cannot go over in a video because of Brothers rules. So save any pricing questions until when I'm done recording. And I will certainly give you guys a price list and what our sales are.
Okay.
All right, so Sandra, if you don't have a question, I'm gonna lower your hand here. I'm not sure if you clicked a button, but it shows a weird hand on my screen when someone clicks raise hand. Okay, so welcome to the vinyl class. The first thing I am gonna go over is the ScanNCut itself and what things you can do to cut vinyl. Then I'm gonna go over the different types of vinyl and show some samples using those vinyl types, and then go into our roll feed bundle, the cutting of vinyl, how to weed it, and how to transfer it. So starting with the ScanNCut, the first thing I want to talk about is the vinyl kit that's new. Somewhere I have the blade for that. It was just here. All right, well, I have no idea what I just did with the blade, even though it was just on my table. But the vinyl kit that they have for the ScanNCut, it's brand new. It comes with a special little blade holder and a very fine point blade. And what that blade is, it's better at getting small areas without accidentally picking up the vinyl. So the vinyl kit that I got is the regular one. There's also a Disney, but you guys can see there's a bunch of really cute built-in designs. And you can see this, of course, on Brothers' website, like a little Halloween one, little Christmas trees. I haven't had any time to cut out any of these because it is brandy new. But one thing that you want to keep in mind is you do want to activate this kit. And that's the same thing for any other kit that you purchase. So I'm going to do a really quick demo on how to activate a kit, just in case any of you did purchase it or are thinking about purchasing it. So I'm going to do a screen share. And
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you register two, like a Disney kit and a regular kit? Only one kit?
I'm assuming you can register both because it's a pattern collection that gets. That's a really good question. Well, I'm gonna look when I'm gonna do a screen share anyway, and go right into my account. So we'll find out, because I'll see if it lists a different one. All right, so you'll see my screen. We are on the Canvas workspace. What you want to do when you first log in, you'll see the same screen. You want to click on your name or your username, whatever you wish to call it. And that is loading. And we want to do premium function activation. That's where that is. And you'll type your activation code right here and then hit activate. So I'm looking, it looks like, yeah, the vinyl auto blade has its own thing. I wonder if it gives you like a Disney design set instead of the regular, because this is the regular vinyl blade. That is a really good question with the Disney. The other thing we can check to see on that is we can actually, yes, I know, I already upgraded. There we go. Maybe under Disney, I mean. Yeah, okay, so you'll get a separate card that gives you a vinyl auto blade pattern collection with that. So see this first one? That's where you put in that. So you might get another card, one for the actual auto blade designs, one for the Disney.
Okay,
you purchase
thank you.
The Disney. Yep, not a problem. Sometimes they're not clear cut of how to put these in. So sometimes you can, this you'd activate under your regular patterns. So you go under your username, and instead of clicking premium, you do it under pattern collection. So if you ever have any of those patterns, usually it'll say on the card too. What did I just do with the card? Gee whiz, I'm losing my mind today. Give me one moment. Let me see if I can, oh, I found it all. It's sitting all behind my computer. All right, so I'm gonna stop screen sharing. There we go. So the card that you get, it'll have a little activation card like this. And when you open it up, it tells you what it includes. It includes a tiling function, weeding box function, and 21 patterns. It doesn't actually say where to, I was hoping it said, you know, if it's a premium function or not. But most of these, you know, I try under premium, put the little code in. Oh, actually, it has a little symbol. See that? That means premium function. There we go. Doesn't obviously say it, but it has the little picture. So when you have a premium function card, like this one too, it'll have that premium icon. So that's what you look for to see what the difference is. This is the little blade holder. So it looks just like any other blade holder, but when you put it into your machine will know that it's set to vinyl, just like when you do the roll feed bundle, it knows. And this blade, it's kind of hard to tell, but it's very tiny, very delicate. And you do need this whole vinyl holder to use the vinyl blade. It will not work if you just purchase the blade and put it in your dual feed regular auto blade thing, not dual feed. So make sure that if you have purchased the blade, you need to get the kit to get this holder. And those just go, of course, right into your machine, just like anything else. Okay, so on our actual machine, let's talk about vinyl settings. I'm gonna pin my phone. There it goes. And my ScanNCut turned off, so let me just return it on. Okay, so here, can you guys hear me, by the way? Because I'm just using my regular laptop speakers.
We can hear you.
You can hear me? Good. All right, so when we want to cut vinyl, one thing we could do is, of course, use that vinyl blade, which I just put it down again. There it is. And I want to make sure, of course, to remove the cap, this little guy. And that can go in there. And I'm going to pull up, we'll just do, because I don't believe the vinyl adds into here at all, but let's do art. Oops, just totally scrolled past it. There we go. All right, so when, oh, and I have this set to the wrong size. Let me turn this to a 12.
Are we supposed to be able to see your machine?
Yes, so if you guys.
Yes, we can.
Oh, all right. So what you need to do is find the picture of the ScanNCut and right click on it and say pin video.
Okay, thank you.
Not a problem. Sorry about that, guys. Unfortunately, if I use the phone speakers, I get an echo if I have my laptop on too. So I've been trying to avoid doing that. All right, there we go. So now you guys can see the screen a little better too. I just had to change the size of the Mac because I had it too big. So when you have that vinyl blade in and you go to cut, it has a finer blade to it. You're still going to need to set the settings. The big difference between vinyl and regular cutting is you don't want it to go all the way through. So in your settings on your final screen, this is where you make the big changes. So you want to turn on your half cut. And right now this says cut pressure half cut 3. That is something that I usually leave it on auto. Sometimes I've had to change it for some weird types of vinyl that I found, which we're going to go over when you may need to override it a little bit. This weeding box is actually a new function. It's really cool. So if you've not updated your newer ScanNCut, this is only for 225s and 230s. You can update your ScanNCut and get this weeding box. When I hit that, and I'm going to hit OK, it tells me it's too big. All right, I can move my design. There we go. There. Now we can go back in and add that weeding box. The weeding box is cool. So if you are a person who's done vinyl before and you know what weeding means you pull all of the negative space or interior space out of the vinyl, so you have either a sticker or a stencil or whatever you are doing. So you pull the vinyl out that you do not need, because weeding literally means removing what you don't want. So a weeding box does a cut around it. So I'm gonna hit OK and show you guys what that looks like. Of course you can't see it, but it does like a little box around your file. So that way you can just pull the vinyl out from away from around the box and weed around the word that I have there. It says art in case you can't see it. But it just adds that box just a little bit distant from the word. So you don't waste as much vinyl that way. So that's a nice new feature. I'm gonna go back into our half cut settings. So again, you wanna have half cut on. Your cut pressure usually is on auto. I had mine overridden for a specific project. The weeding box you can turn on to make weeding easier. And the box spacing is how far away from the letters, which that 0.118 seems to be just fine. These are into other settings, but those are the big vinyl settings.
How do you get the upgrade?
It depends. So if you have your ScanNCut set up for wireless, at the top of your screen when you turn it on is your little wireless key. And if you have a little line through it, that means you need to set it up. But if there's an exclamation mark, that means that it has sensed that there's an update available.
Okay, thank you.
And you just click on it and it should just say update. Mine doesn't because there's not one available. The other way is you can always go to support.brother.com, look up your model number and save it to a USB. I believe it is the pause button and the power button. I'm going to test that for you guys to see which one it is for the update screen. It's either that or you update it now. I don't think this does anything anymore. The older machines, it was the map feeds button, I believe, and the power button you had to turn on at the same time to be able to get into the update screen. This one doesn't have the update screen. If I remember right, it is through your settings. And it's somewhere in here. Yeah, version 1.151 or 1.51. You can click that and you can do it wirelessly or through your USB. So that's how you do it on the newer ones. I usually just try to do it wirelessly because that's easier. So I use my ScanNCut, update it, and go, walk away. It actually will restart itself, get it all installed and everything. All right, so what I'm going to do is switch back to my computer and go over different types of vinyls because really that's the basic settings. There's not too much that goes into vinyls on the machine. It is more the material itself and the weeding and all of that. So I'm going to unpin this on mine. Actually, I can just leave that pinned on this one. All right, I will walk back over to my computer. All right, so if you have the ScanNCut pinned, if you have the ScanNCut pinned, you can pin back to me or turn it or unpin that ScanNCut to get back into the speaker video. So whichever one is easier for you. I'll give you guys a moment. Oh my God, this thing is sealed. If you have not opened up your bag, you definitely need to open it. Grab little scissors. Okay. So for different types of vinyl, there are, oops, there we go, dropped it all. So there are different types of vinyl, and depending on if you're looking for a sticky vinyl or a fusible, an iron-on vinyl, you'll have different categories of vinyl even in those sections. So let's talk about sticky vinyls first. And most of them I think are labeled in some way. So you should have two different types of vinyl in there that say, one says permanent, one says adhesive, and then this little weird looking thing or something similar to it that is a transfer sheet. So these different materials, the big difference between permanent and regular adhesive vinyl is kind of the obvious statement that one of them is permanent, which means that it's outdoor friendly. So for an example, on my mailbox outside, I have two little colonial ladies. Well, one side is a colonial lady and man, and the other side is the same picture, just facing on either side of the mailbox. So you can put little custom vinyls on your mailbox with permanent vinyl. You can also do car lettering. Maybe your house number is outside, but think outside things that are going to get a lot of damage or rain or weather, something that you do not want to be removed ever. For example, a cup or maybe a plate. You can stick vinyl on the underneath of a plate and have it stay when you wash it in the dishwasher. I still get nervous washing things with permanent vinyl in the dishwasher. I still hand wash them, but they are more permanent. Where craft vinyl, and I'm going to show you an example. Craft vinyl is not permanent. So this was a class that we had done. We did a smaller version of this, but this is when I was playing with the design initially. This is all craft vinyl. And I stuck this on here. I didn't feel a need to do the crazy permanent because I'm not going to be touching it. It's not going to be outside. So craft vinyl, if you're hanging it up inside your house, is usually fine. And then maybe I'll get bored of this one day and rip it all off and put something else in there. Who knows? But this is just regular old craft vinyl. So you can do a lot with it. You know, this is a fun little sign. Craft vinyl is also similar to some of the vinyl that they use as wraps on light switch plate covers. They actually make some vinyls for that. So this was one that came with our, we bought Backsplash, and they gave us some light plate switch covers, vinyl to stick over it. So I cut out some really fancy swirls, and I actually put them on our key holder. So that way I had the same Backsplash on our key holder inside the kitchen, so I can bring it all together. But this is a craft vinyl. It actually could come off if I wanted it to. Where permanent vinyls also fall into car wraps, for example, this is a car wrap vinyl. And I bought this on Amazon. And I actually do have flames on the side of my car because unfortunately my car was keyed a few years ago, and I vinyl shoved in there. All sorts of presents in here. So my car was keyed some years ago, and I cut out, I tried to paint it, tried to get it fixed, and I'd have to pay $600 to get it buffed out, which, you know, it's an older car, who needs that? So I got a cheap roll of vinyl. That's car wrap vinyl. It's a permanent vinyl, cut out flames and put it right over the keys, the keying marks. So this is another type of permanent vinyl. So when we cut out vinyls like this, now you can do either the adhesive vinyl or permanent. It does not matter which one we're going to cut out. So you guys are going to pick one. I'm going to do the gold one because that's pretty. You guys may have different colors too. I have no idea what's in your kits. But what we're going to do is cut out something out of this first. So we're going to start with this vinyl. Again, whatever your craft vinyl or permanent. And you will also need your transfer sheet because I'm going to show you guys how this works. So I am going to switch over to my phone, or yeah, my phone camera once again. So you can unpin this video and pin the ScanNCut to make it easier for you.
Chelsea, how do you pin the other one, please?
You should be able to right click right on the video, and you can unpin one video and pin the other. Now, if anyone does get kicked out, by the way, because I saw that when somebody, their connection disconnected, if I don't admit you right away, just be patient. It's because I'm on my phone and switching between the laptop and phone. All right, so make sure you have the ScanNCut pinned, and I'm sorry to have you guys pin and unpin, but I found out when you have speaker view set up, you would think whoever's talking will pop up, but if someone didn't mute and there's a slight background noise, it'll switch to them sometimes and stay on them, so you'll miss parts of the class. All right, so just right click on the ScanNCut picture and hit pin, and we're gonna head over to the ScanNCut. Okay, so with vinyl, when you are cutting out, let's say we're doing a sticker, we could do a more detailed design, but for today's class, I'm gonna have you stick with some of the plainer designs. You don't have to do a circle or a square. We can still go into our pretty designs here, but something like a snowflake or a gear or something a little bit more simple might be nicer. You know, flower, something like that. But the way you want vinyl to be, see how these designs have a singular color in them? And then some of these, for example, this one has an inside shape and an outside. So if I was using this as a stencil, it would be a little bit harder to move without a transfer sheet. And a transfer sheet literally just moves your vinyl from the backing onto your material that you're going to be painting or sticking it on or whatever. When you have a design that has multiple colors like this one, you're going to need 2 different colors of vinyl. It doesn't mean you can't do vinyl. It just means that you'll need to do 2 different colors. If you wanted to cut it all out of one piece of vinyl, this would not work unless you layered it. So if you want it to be a 1-layer sticker on the back of your car or something like that, you will need to use something different. So I'm going to do a leaf because we're pretty much in fall. And most of the sizes you don't need to change. They should be big enough for your vinyl to cut. And for mats, I did not talk about mats that you want to use with vinyl. Your regular standard mat is actually really good for cutting vinyl. So I'm going to hit set. And what I want to do next is I'm going to back up my phone here. See the mess of my table. So what I want is my vinyl, and I'm going to stick it, this is a stick-on vinyl, so I stick it face up. So if it says adhesive vinyl or permanent vinyl, face up, because we want to cut, trying to get in the camera there, we want to cut this top layer, not the paper underneath, so we're going to turn on the half cut, but this is what we want to cut. And it does not matter where you put it on your mat, because we're going to scan it in anyway. So I have that stuck up there. And you want to really make sure it's stuck down. This is a mat that I have abused a little bit, so we'll see. A little trick as well, if you find that some of your, this one looks pretty stuck down, but if you find that it's peeling off in the corners, I'm going to show you if I can figure out where it is. Here we are. Washi tape is actually a really simple, nice tape. This is washi tape. It's a paper tape. And you can put a little bit on the edge if you find it's popping up. You don't want to stick it on the sticky area, just on the edge. And this is something that Brother actually showed us in a class. They had Brother washi tape, which I don't understand why they don't sell that. This is a little balloon animal, I think, washi tape that I got on clearance, but it works along these edges. So you don't want to stick it in here because you're never going to get it off of this matte part, just the edges.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Yeah, what's your question?
When you do the vinyl, you said to put it on half cut?
Yes, I'm going to go over that in a moment.
Oh, okay. Because I thought the blade was automatic and it kind of knew what you were cutting now.
So the automatic blade is automatically cutting all the way through.
Okay, thank you.
However, in this case, we don't want it to cut it all the way through. We want it to cut just to the paper.
Right.
Yep. So I'm going to put this back on my ScanNCut there. There we go. So the first thing we want to do is do a scan and make sure that our shape fits nicely into our vinyl. So your scan button is this one on the middle. In the Brother class we took on this, they called it the oven door. And if you hadn't loaded your mat yet, just make sure to load your mat in. There it goes. There, trying to get this on there. Sorry about the dizzying effects here. So this little oven door, we're going to click on that and click start. This is going to do a scan and show us where our vinyl sits. Try to get this lowered a little bit more on the screen. Okay, so I'm going to center my little leaf here on the gold. I'm not sure if you guys can see that easily. Try to move this a little bit closer. But you can see that my leaf is on the gold. Now, if you cannot see, let's say you have black vinyl, it's going to be pretty hard to see that. So to change your background colors is just a little wrench that is called a wrench. Click on that, and you can actually change how bright or dark your background is. There's 2 options. And you can hit OK, and now see how much easier that is to see.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good help right there, is being able to switch that. All right, so I'm going to hit OK. And now we're on our last screen. I'm all set to cut this. I'm good to go. So I'm going to hit Please Select and hit Cut. And I'm going to go into my settings here, And I'm gonna make sure that this is set up again with the half cut on, because that's what we want. I'm gonna move this back into auto. And I'm gonna put on that weeding box, right? Why not? I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like and hit okay.
Where did you go to the settings?
Oh, right here, that little wrench button.
Yeah.
Yep, just go into there and you scroll down to the second part. Make sure it says half cut, auto, weeding box on. Now the nice thing is if you hit okay, it actually will read you all those things here too. It doesn't say the weeding box, but you'll see it here on your screen. But it'll say half cut on, your speed. I have mine on 5 because this is a simple design. If you have your slower, not a big deal. Pressure is auto, and it tells you how many minutes as well.
Chelsea?
Yeah.
I hit on the tool and it goes to cut area, pattern interval, and background. What am I doing
On your
wrong?
last screen, did you hit okay?
Yeah, I got okay.
Does
And then
it
it goes back, has the back arrow, and then it says please select.
Yeah, so hit please select and hit cut.
Okay.
And then you'll have this button come on with a little.
Okay, now you have the tool. Okay. Cut pressure says auto, so.
Yep. You want half cut though, so scroll down, hit your arrow down, make sure that the half cut says on.
Cut pressure half cut 5.
Yeah,
Says
your cut
5.
pressure half cut, turn that to auto, so hit the minus button to get it back to the auto.
What?
You want your cut pressure under the half cut to be on auto.
Okay, I have cut pressure on auto,
Okay.
and then I have half cut on.
Good.
Cut pressure, it says 5.
Yeah, your regular cut pressure, I mean, that's not going to matter right now. You could
Okay,
leave that on,
all right.
on auto if you want, but because we're on half cut, it's not even going to look at those.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So now let's say you're a little nervous and you want to make sure that this is going to test. Like for example, that vinyl blade that I just put in, I just opened that and got that all set up yesterday. I have not had a chance to use it, so I'm terrified to use it in front of a group of people, especially when I'm supposed to be the educator. And if I mess that up, well, you know, we'll see. But I like to test sometimes. You do not need to, once you start cutting the vinyl and get used to your machine, you don't need to test it like the older ScanNCut, so the CM 650W or the WX, the 550, the 350, any of those previous models, you would have to do a test cut every time. This one, because it's that auto, you really don't need to. But I'm going to show you how to anyway, in case you're nervous and you don't want to destroy your vinyl. I completely understand. So I'm going to hit test. And what this does is it usually sets your little triangle out around your design. Sometimes if you have a design that's pretty big and has lots of details, you may need to move that triangle, which you can do with just a simple stylus. Of course, I have no idea where my stylus is, but it doesn't look like I need to move it anyway. You can also change your shape type here or use those little move arrows to move around your test cut. Once you are all set, you'll hit start and it's going to just do the test. So I'm going to move this back. Oops. Now that noise it just made right there, it actually marks your mat every time it cuts. Just gonna do a quick test cut, and there we go. So I'm gonna grab a quick tool for, just take a quick moment. So I can. So if you guys, there's quite a few different tools out there. This is one that I have here. This is actually a silhouette tool, but it has a little bit of a finer blade than some of the brother ones. The other tool is this guy that you can use to pick up this triangle. This is the embellish weeding tool. And as you can see, it's kind of, it looks like you may trip and accidentally stick this in your eye. It's kind of really pointy and scary. It's very sharp, so do not drop this on your toe. But this guy is really good for weeding. So that is another tool. There's also the brother ones. I actually do not have an example of that to show you guys, but there is a brother weeding toolkit that has a slightly bigger hook. This reminds me of a dental hook. So what I'm going to do is come over to my triangle and just try it. And if it comes up, no problem, just like that, then I know that this is good to go. And it did not cut the paper behind. I can lift this and see. That is perfect. So once you have it perfect, you can hit start. If you need to test again, you can hit test again, move your triangle, and reset those blade settings to something better. So most of you should be fine. If you find it cut too far, you can actually go into your AutoCut and do a -1. If it did not cut and through the vinyl enough, you can do a +1. So I'm gonna hit start and start cutting. If any of you have any questions, feel free to ask while this is cutting.
Chelsea, I'm trying to switch from the iPad to my computer. Can you let me in on the other?
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me one moment. Sorry about that. There we go. You should be admitted. I do the waiting room just because otherwise when I'm setting up, people will be logging in. Okay, so we're all done cutting. So now what I can do is I can unload my mat and I can take my vinyl off. If you guys are still cutting, don't worry about it. And see how I have this really cool box, my weeding box. And I can just kind of peel around this. Now, this vinyl seems to be kind of angry. There it goes. And it doesn't seem to be peeling off very smoothly. And this happens sometimes, especially with different companies' vinyls. So you want to take your time and slowly pull around your whatever you cut. There we go. There we go, that's my leaf. Now, if I wanted this to be a stencil, I would have pulled the leaf off and left this negative space there instead. So all the space around. So this is my beautiful leaf. Now, if I wanted to pull this off and stick it to something, I could try just peeling it and sticking it. But if you have something with a lot of details, you want to use a transfer sheet. And this is a clear, reusable. I suggest using these more than once. And I can stick this on here. I'm going to push this down using my area there. And then this can pull that leaf right off. And I could stick this leaf to whatever I would like and let it be on there. So I could stick this to a window. I could stick it to a mug. Maybe my computer needs a leaf. Maybe my ScanNCut needs a leaf. I don't know. Something needs to be leaf, I suppose. Or I can put it on the back of my transfer sheet and save it for later, which is what I suggest you guys do. And there we go. So you guys just created a really cool custom sticker. What I have done in the past, oh, go ahead.
You put the sticky side down on the leaf?
Yes, the sticky side will be this side right here. So the whole back of this is sticky.
Okay, so whatever you cut out, the leaf is sticky if you touch it?
The back of the leaf, yes. So the side that sticks against this plastic, that is the sticky side. So if I peel this up here, this is going to be sticky on this side.
Yep.
And that's the area that you stick, because these are an adhesive vinyl, not a fusible or anything like that. They just stick. Now for craft vinyl, what are some other things that you could use it for? Craft vinyl also works really nicely for stencils. So I'm going to see if you guys can even, there we go. Actually, you can see that pretty nicely. This is a stencil I did on the ScanNCut. These are all built-in designs. I used built-in fonts, built-in designs that are in the stencil section. And I cut them all out, weeded it, leaving, just took out my name and John's name and the swirls here, and used an etched glass cream to create a really cool coaster. I was going to make 160 some odd of these for my wedding, and I made one and decided that that was enough. So, it's a really cool thing. Etched glass is great because you can eat on it. You can wash it. It is just really easy to do. It takes a little bit of practice because you want to make sure your vinyl is on there really good. And then you put the cream on, let it sit for usually around 90 seconds, and then you wash it in the sink. You want to wear gloves because you're working with an acid, so it can hurt your skin if you let it sit on your skin long enough. You definitely don't want to splash it in your eyes. So wear gloves, put down a mat, and take your time with it. But it is a really cool thing that you can do on pretty much any glass. These I had gotten off of Amazon. You can also get like regular glasses and mugs from the Dollar Tree. and play with this. And we do have some etched glass cream in the store if you guys are interested. So it's the same process as we just did with this leaf, but you'll take the outside, the leaf sticker here off and leave the outside and use that as your stencil. So it's pretty cool. And you can do that with paint. I've actually done it with fabric paint where I made stencils and painted a little pirate flag for the kids when they were younger. I just made stencils for a font, Star Wars font for a friend of mine who wanted to use Star Wars font on his stuff. So, you know, you can do a lot of really cool things with stencils. Okay, so that is about it I had on adhesive vinyls. So I'm gonna move into iron-on vinyls unless anyone has any questions. Okay, I'm gonna assume that's a no. So what I'm gonna start talking about first, so we have heat transfer. So you should have a regular heat transfer. The one that I have in my kit is kind of pearly pink. There are many different types of regular heat transfer vinyls. Your regular vinyls can be layered up. So for those of you who have ever watched the Wreck-It Ralph movie and saw the pajama shirts that all the princesses had on, I made this one off of Anna from Frozen. And she has in her song, you know, finish each other's sandwiches. But this is the shirt she was wearing, and I thought it was cute, so I made myself one. It is layers of vinyl. So you can see here, there's, you know, red, green, a darker brown, a light brown. It has glitter here. I need to iron it to smooth it out a little bit. Again, it looks like, 'cause I got a little pucker there from where I stored it. But this is just glitter. All of these are fusible and then just ironed in layers. It is a little thick, but not too bad. And then what I do to wash it is I just right side it out. That's layered vinyl, so you can do that with many different types of vinyl. Just be very careful as you're fusing each layer on because you can melt the previous layer. As for single color designs, there was this craze a little while ago. This is an Etsy seller that has this design available as an SVG. It's called Zentangle Sewing Machine. And I think it's like, I don't know, $2 or something, minimal. And it's really fun to cut out, not as much fun to weed. And then once you have it on a shirt, you feel really complete. I have made quite a few of these. This was one with a gold vinyl. It's a metallic colored vinyl. And then I have another one here that's made with a rainbow vinyl. So it almost looks like it changes color, which is really pretty. So same design, just different vinyl. These are old, as you can see, so I have little bits that I have accidentally fused off. And the more and more you wash these, you sometimes will lose little parts. So vinyl is really great on shirts, but you want to make sure that's really well fused on to begin with. And you always right side it out in the wash, or wrong side out. So some of the other types, you guys may or may not have a little sample of this foil, fusible foil. The fusible foil is really pretty. There's copper colored, there's gold and silver. I've seen metallic green. This was a Halloween shirt that I made. This is a real gravestone in Massachusetts that I actually had traced, but this is that foil fusible. So it's really, really cool. It's a little thicker than your normal vinyl. So it's a little harder to cut out. You may need to turn up your half cut. And then with this, you definitely do not want to put an iron directly on it. Same thing with your regular vinyl, it will melt. So always use a pressing cloth. And I highly recommend a non-stick pressing cloth. Lastly is your glitter. I shouldn't say lastly, there's a couple other samples in there, but there's a lot of other types besides this. But you guys may recognize this glitter from all the lovely Kimberbell events that you've attended and or plan to attend. And this is, here we go. It's a beautiful glittery vinyl. And the glitter does not come off and get all over your hands like usual glitter. So if you're afraid that this is gonna make it look like a fairy threw up all over your craft room, do not worry. It does not work like that. This stuff I find is probably one of the better to use. I have had less issues with glitter than a lot of the regular vinyls with it coming up or having to iron it back down. And you can put an iron right on it. It doesn't really melt or do anything crazy. I still wouldn't have your iron sit on it for long periods, but it's a little thicker and more resilient. So this is a little more fun to use for beginners. So I'm going to use the glitter as my example because you have to do a little bit in the way of changes to cut out with glitter. And quickly before we do cut this, you have a small scrap of what's called, oh my gosh, I just forgot the name of it, but it's like a felt, yep, the name's gone. But what it is I really don't like the feel of this stuff, but it's like a vinyl, or it's a vinyl, but it's fuzzy, so felt. And oh my goodness, if I could remember the name of it, that'd be helpful. But flocked, yes, thank you. It's flocked vinyl. Oh my goodness, I'm like, starts with an F. So this stuff you usually see on sports shirts. So I like this a lot for applique, especially for like a baby blanket, if you're doing that, because it's fuzzy. It's got that velvety feel, so it's got texture. So this stuff's really cool. It's a little harder to find. We do not carry it in the store. You can get a flocked kit that Brothers sells, I think. I'm not sure if they're still available. But otherwise, I would just order this one online because this is a harder one. You can't even go to Michael's and get it. All right, so we're going to try our glitter because this is fun. And I usually save glitter to leftover from events. You can use the same mat, the standard mat. And this time, you'll see your front of your vinyl. And this is like this for all vinyls. This one you might be able to see front and back a little easier. Actually, where do those gold ones go? Those would be the best. Here we go. So whenever you're cutting a fusible vinyl, face down, the exact opposite, because these have what's called a built-in transfer sheet. So I'm going to separate this glitter because the glitter is a little easier to get back together. Just show you guys, ooh, or shred it, that works too. There we go. So this is sticky right here. I can literally just stick it on my finger. And this is a built-in transfer sheet. So when we cut it face down, it cuts just the vinyl. You peel it all off, it has that transfer sheet. You take it, stick it down, and iron it. And there you go, you're done. So it's really nice for all sorts of different things. So this is going face down. So I'm just gonna stick this on my mat. Now the nice thing about glitter is if you, for some reason, do not have a regular standard mat, you only have the high tack, glitter does not mind being cut on a high tack sheet because you have that plastic that's down. So I find that glitter is it's just the easiest to use because it's so resilient. I'm going to choose a different design than a leaf. I feel like a sparkly silver leaf would look nice, but let's see what else we have. You do a snowflake. I cut out a bunch of silver snowflakes and put them on stockings and they look really nice. So you can kind of think outside the box. Ooh, I could do a bat because it's close to Halloween. I'm gonna do a bat. All right, so I'm gonna get my little bat on there. And then I wanna, of course, scan this in just like we did the last time. And you always wanna scan in with vinyls, or really with most things you're cutting. Okay, so I'm going to drag my little bat, and because I'm cutting out a lighter color, I notice it's a little harder to see. I'm going to move this camera a little closer. I can still see that, but it's a little harder to see than, you know, maybe with my other backgrounds. So I can always change, again, in my settings, the darkness of that. You can actually even see the sparkly texture when you make it a little darker. So I have my little bat on there. He's super cute. Now, what to keep in mind, oh, go ahead, you have a question?
Is it the same setting, half cut?
It is, however, I want you guys to hit add, and if you're in a screen like this, just hit pattern, and pattern again. I'm gonna have you guys put a word in there, and there's a reason why. We don't have to cut out the word, you can ignore it. Let's see which one. I think there actually is a Halloween one in here. There's Halloween, happy, grateful, gather. There's a bunch of them, doesn't really matter which one you put in. I'm just gonna put in the word joy because it's short and easy. And I'm gonna show you guys, if I cut this out like this, and I'm gonna move this down here so you can see it, and just cut it out, it's actually not gonna work. When you cut a fusible vinyl, you have to do what's called mirroring, especially when you have letters or things that you're using with embroidery applique. So if you were just doing, you know, a heart that obviously looks the same either way, don't worry about it. If you're doing a regular sewing applique and it doesn't matter which way the items are facing, then it doesn't matter either. But this, if I was going to use lettering, that's very important, because if I cut this out right now and then I peel this off to iron it on, you flip it over. So it would be backwards. So whenever you are doing fusible vinyl, we're gonna mirror. So we don't need to cut out this joy. I'm just showing you guys how to mirror in this so you don't have to necessarily follow along. But to mirror something, we're going to hit edit. Now, if you wanted to mirror a whole bunch of items, let's say you had a whole bunch of stuff on the screen, multiple items, you want to mirror everything at the same time. I'm going to show you that in just a second. We're going to do the joy first, and then we're going to come back and mirror everything. So I'm going to hit OK. Oh, sorry, edit. Object edit. And this little button here, if you have an older ScanNCut, it is 2 triangles with a dotted line kind of on the bottom left-hand side of your screen. On this one, it is this button. And see, now it is backwards. I'm going to undo that and show you how to select all and mirror everything. So if you have multiple items, maybe, for example, that crazy sewing machine that I had that I cut out, there's lots of little objects in there. So if I just selected one, it's not going to select everything. So I hit that same edit button to bring me into this screen, and I'm going to hit these red dots, red squares, hit the select all, and hit OK. Then I will hit object edit, and I can still mirror it. Now, if I needed to move this, I may also want to group it. And grouping is this little circle and triangle right here. So I'm going to click that. And now this is grouped. So if I move this around, it will move together. So I'm going to go back into object edit and ungroup this and delete my joy because I don't need it. I'm going to trash that, hit OK. But whenever you are cutting out lettering or anything related to that, you want to mirror your design. So always make sure fusible vinyls or fabrics, anything that you have to put face down to cut, has to be mirrored. And a lot of SVG designs that come with quilting projects or applique do not come pre-mirrored. The Kimberbell designs do not come pre-mirrored. So if you're using them in, let's say, the new Boulevard bench pillow or Love Notes, you will need to mirror them. Okay, so I'm all set now with that. I have my bat positioned. I'm ready to go. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit please select and cut. Now, sometimes with glitter, I may have to go back and change some things because what happens is it's kind of bouncy, it's squishy. It has like a gel almost that keeps all the glitter in there, like a solid gel. So sometimes I find that I have to turn up the cut. So we're going to try it. We're going to do a test cut first and see what happens, because this is what I recommend if you don't know what to do. I'm going to move my triangle a little higher up, and I'm going to hit start. I already have it on the half cut, so I don't have to change any of that. But we'll see what this reacts. Sorry about the shaking. There. Trying to get my camera to stay up on its own. Okay, so I have my little tool, and I just gotta find where the triangle is. And actually, that cut pretty nicely. Doesn't look like it cut all the way through. And I can double check. That looks like it's pretty good. So if for some reason this did not cut all the way through, which sometimes it depends on your brand of glitter. Some brands are a little thicker, like the Floriani glitter is actually thinner. The Silhouette brand is kind of in the middle. But when you get some of the nicer ones, like the Brother brand or one of the other ones that we carry through the store, they sometimes are a little heavier and you may need to change. So if this didn't work, I'm going to hit test again, and it's going to bring me back into my test screen, and I can actually go into my wrench here and change my settings. So if it didn't work,
mine cut all the way through. So do I need to make
too?
Yeah.
So if yours does that, I found that -3 is a really great number for glitter.
Okay.
I think the squishiness of it kind of throws off the auto blades, which is why I always like to demo glitter. This is with the new vinyl blade, and I had no problems with it. where my old blade, I usually have it set to a -3, the regular auto blade. So that vinyl blade, just for the glitter, totally worth it so far. I admit I was skeptical. So I'm good to go, so I'm gonna hit okay. And I still have that test cut there. I have not removed it. So if I don't want it, I can just hit the back button and it will remove that test cut and bring me back to my regular cut page. So if you already cut the test cut and you go out of it and then you don't want to cut the test cut, make sure that you hit the back button to remove it. Otherwise it'll cut in the same place and it may actually cut through your mat. It shouldn't, but sometimes it may somehow cut and mess up things. Okay, so I'm gonna hit start and we're gonna start cutting out our little bat. Oh, I forgot to add a weeding box. Oh well. Thank you, Diane. Sorry about that. Okay. All right, so hopefully this cut, and what I like to do on the glitter, you can barely see where that cut, but if you hold it just right in the light, you can kind of see it. If you forget to do a weeding box, not a big deal. We can just take our scissors. I'm trying to make sure I don't cut any of these little parts off here and just cut around. See if I can see the, there he is. And that way I can use the rest of this glitter for another project. And I'm gonna take him and I can use a tool. I'm gonna use a crazy sharp one. Show you guys this one. And look, this literally just picks it right up. And I can peel away everything I don't need. And glitter can be a little more time consuming because it's very hard to see where your edges are. So if you do like that sewing machine Zentangle, I find that the glitter was the hardest one to really find the edges. Now, one big thing is as you are pulling off this vinyl, make sure it all gets into the trash, because if you have these little scraps sitting on your ironing board, they're fusible. You can accidentally iron them to the back of projects. So make sure that you throw them away. And then when we're all done, I can take this and stick it on a shirt and iron it on. We are going to press, which means you take your iron and press it on there and don't move it. That's ironing. Holding it is pressing. I'm going to grab a scrap piece of cotton here, and I can actually demonstrate. Give me 1 second. Turn on my iron. All right, I'm gonna take a quick field trip with my phone. There we go. I just gotta give my iron a moment to heat up. So if you guys are still cutting or working on something, feel free to keep on going. See if I can put this up a little higher.
Else, I did 3 and it cut through.
All the way through?
Yeah.
Do you have your half cut turned on?
No, I have it off.
Oh, that would be why then. So just turn on your half cut and try again.
And I have 3, cut pressure 3, and
yeah, well, if you have the half cut turned off, no matter what, it's going to cut all the way through. So just hit on your half cut and try it. Okay. Try it on auto.
On auto?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try it again. I cut it 3 times and it just.
Now, for the ironing part, you can put your iron right on this plastic. That's fine. You never want to put it right on the vinyl. It will melt. Glitter is the only one that's resilient enough where, you know, if you do have a corner popping up after you peel off your plastic, you can always do that. You don't want to use steam because that can actually make things curl. My iron isn't heated up all the way yet, so I'm just going to give it a moment. So I'm just pressing it and just letting it sit. And after you feel you've pressed enough, you can try to peel it up. And if it still comes up like that, then you know you need to do more. I usually let it cool off a little bit too before I peel everything off. If you are doing layered vinyl, what you'll find is that you're going to layer your next layer on there, but it may not, your plastic transfer sheet may not cover all of that previous vinyl. So that's when you use that non-stick ironing sheet over everything as you're ironing. They're called Teflon pressing sheets, and we do have those at the store. My iron takes forever to heat up. Almost there. Just got to let it cool down a little bit, I think. So pretty much you let it cool, and then you'll peel this off. If I peel it off right now and it's still hot, it will rip everything off. So let's give it a moment. There we go.
Hey, Chelsea, does the playbook kind of go through these kind of recipes?
Does the what? I'm sorry, repeat the question?
Does the playbook go through these kind of recipes, these sort of instructions?
For the playbook, I'm not sure. I have not seen it, so I don't know specifically what it goes over. I know it goes over how to cut vinyl, but it may not go over the different types of vinyl. I unfortunately do not know. Now, so most of this is down. I usually take my nails and kind of go on the edges. I have a little corner here. On glitter only, I can take it and just kind of gently repress it like this. If it was regular vinyl, then I'll make sure to put at least a piece of fabric over it, or that Teflon sheet. I'm gonna grab mine real quick. This is my Teflon pressing cloth, and I can put that over as well, just to be safe. And that way, nothing is gonna come up. So there we go, there's our little bat. He's all stuck on that fabric. I could cut him out, use him as a pocket, whatever I want to do. So he's all on there, and as you can see, I'm rubbing him, pulling him, and he's not going to go anywhere. So pretty easy. I'm going to move back to our ScanNCut. Okay, I had to walk all the way around my table. I got cords everywhere. Okay, so that is our glitter. I did want to show you guys quickly with the regular vinyl. So this is our regular vinyl. You may have a pearl one or a plain colored one. This will probably be the most common one you use for different things. And you can do some really detailed stuff with this. So I'm just gonna put that again on my mat. Shiny side face down, so the pretty side face down. Go home. And let's do a little bit more of a detailed design, but not too detailed.
Vinyl to put down now?
This is the regular, it should say heat transfer, regular transfer vinyl. So I'm going to do a little bit more of a detailed design to show you guys. I have a little leaf here, and I'm just going to do a scan. Trying to make it so you guys can actually see the screen. All right, so I'm just going to pull that design in. Now, again, if this had lettering or something like that, I could mirror it. This design doesn't really matter to me which way it's going. I'm going to go into my last screen and hit cut. And I want to do a test cut on this as well, just to make sure. If it's the first time cutting something, I always like to do that little test cut just to make sure that the settings are correct. Where if I have cut, you know, this is my third version of this vinyl I've cut, I'm going to make sure to, you know, I don't need to worry about that test cut. It works the first time, it's going to usually be the same. All right, so take a little tool here. Oh, so I'm having trouble finding the cut on this one. So look at that, and it's just pulling this whole thing up. So I know that something's wrong. it didn't cut through. So what I'm gonna do is hit test again and go into my settings, scroll down, half cut is on, fine, but I can turn up my cut pressure. I'm gonna turn it up to a 3 and see what that does. And hit okay. Now I wanna move my little dot up here. And I like this tool because the end of it I can use as a stylus. And I'm just gonna move that triangle further down and hit start once again. I was hoping it was gonna mess up on one of these, but of course it decided to cut perfectly on everything else. So this happens sometimes, especially with some of the odd, like the pearl one's a little spongy too. And so, there we go, got it. Perfect, that seemed to work. So that cut out a triangle. However, I want to check to make sure that it didn't cut all the way through. So I'm just going to peel this up a little bit and check. And yep, that plastic's still there. Of course, you can't see because I moved the camera, but it did not cut all the way through. We are good to go. So now I can hit start. I'll move this back so you guys can watch it cut. That's super exciting. But I don't accidentally drop my camera. There we go. So it's going to cut all of that out. And the more detailed the cut, the longer it will take. So for an example, the sewing machine one that I showed you guys, I think that one was about 4 hours or something ridiculous.
Wow.
I forget. Did you have a question?
No, I just said, wow, that's a long time.
Oh, okay, yeah, it takes a little bit. So, you know, depending on what you're doing, you may need to be a little more patient. You know, leave it, walk away, you know, go grab a cup of tea or something. All right, there we go. So, peel this off. And this time, because I have lots of different parts, I'm gonna use a little bit of my finer tool here. And I'm going to peel each one of these off. So this has lots of little inside pieces and outside. So you'll just slowly.
Chelsea?
Yep.
So this type of vinyl, the heat transfer vinyl, doesn't have the sheet behind it. It's just one sheet, right?
Well, no, all types of vinyl come with 2 sheets. The heat transfer has this side here. So this is actually a clear plastic sticky sheet. And then the actual vinyl is stuck to it, but right side face down. The adhesive vinyl has a sheet that it's stuck onto. So the sticky side is in between the layer of vinyl and the fusible, or the layer of vinyl, the paper, I mean. So they all have 2 sheets, which is why you have to use that half cut. Did that answer your question? So this sharper of the weeding tools, I usually can impale the vinyl like that and just literally pull it right off, which I find is a little easier to do. And then this one, I'm gonna cut out the leaf a little bit closer. I forgot to do a weeding box again. It's such a new feature, I keep forgetting that it exists. And then I'm just gonna take that outside layer and then just peel it off. There we go. And then this same thing, I can take it face down, stick it on something and iron it on, and then I have a really pretty leaf on something. So this is a little bit more detailed than your normal design that we were using. So it's not too hard, you just kind of got to fold it and find out where those little angles are. This type of vinyl, you do not want to put an iron directly on. You can put it on the sheet here, and then if you peel that off and find that a little corner is peeled up, that's when you use that Teflon ironing sheet. Okay, does anyone have any questions about the heat adhesive or heat fixed vinyls? Okay, next I wanted to show you guys the roll feed kit, the roll feed bundle, and how to use that. So I'm gonna get rid of this mat and put that away. And I gotta clear off some of my table. So to use the roll feeder, and I'm gonna show you guys how to set up the roll feed to create a design after I show you the demonstration of the roll feed in use. So don't worry about cutting out something with me. But the roll feed bundle is more made for your adhesive vinyls. The vinyl needs to be face up for how it cuts, and not like a lot of the ways the iron-on. Usually the iron-on, you have to do it like this, which won't work for the way the roll feed bundle is set up. So I'm gonna go to my home page on here, and if you have pattern and you have scan, and then if you hit the arrow over, it's roll feed bundle or roll feeder. Now, if you do not have a newer ScanNCut, either the Disney or this blue one, you will not have access to the roll feed. You cannot use it or add it onto your machine. If you have purchased it and you don't have one, you can always get a roll feed bundle separate. It comes with usually a roll of black vinyl, the roll feed, and I think that's about it. But you do get all of that. Now, to use this, you do have to activate it as a premium function. You get this in a box. There's a little card in there. You will have to activate it just like I showed you with the rhinestone before using it. All right, so we're gonna go into roll feeder. And it actually brings you step by step. I'm gonna bring you guys close up to show you. So it says attach the roll feeder. Perfect. So it says, oh, we need to do this little button first, which is this guy. Okay, and that lifts this guy up. So I'm gonna hit next. Then it's gonna tell me I need to change where the little cutter is. So hard to tell. I'm not sure if I'll be able to get in close enough to have you guys see what I'm doing here. But I'm gonna change this to unlock. So that's unlocked, which means now I can move this. Oh, there's something in there. Little tiny triangle inside my machine. We'll get it later. And I need to relock that. So we're gonna lock that there. And now, as you can see, that's not gonna move because that's how thick vinyl is. It's usually 9 inches. I don't know where that little plastic went. Okay, so I have that done. I can hit next. Oh, I already went a step ahead because I remember what to do. So I can hit next. Now, what I'm pretty much showing you guys is this brings you step by step how to set up this roll feed set. Let me snap this down. So even if you are not professional and remembered everything about the ScanNCut, or you watch this class and watch it again and again and you still can't remember how to do it, it walks you right through it, so don't worry. Okay, so next we attach our base attachment. So I'm gonna bring you guys a little back. This is our roll feed bundle. And our base attachment is, come on. And this, there we go. It actually will sit over it, you'll feel it. So I'm gonna hit next. Oh, and it's gotta actually come over here. There it is, now it's snapped on. Aha, there it snapped. So this kind of goes over your little bar that we just moved, and that's not gonna move once it's in there. Now is this thing, which, where are my little thingies? Oh, there it is, I have it backwards. Aha, it's been a while since I've done one of these. There we go, gonna hit next, and then we put our vinyl on. So I'm gonna lay that on there, and then there's a little thing you can pinch here that you can move this back and forth. So if you do have a larger roll, that should stay on there. I may need to help feed this because it doesn't actually have an inner roll piece, so it doesn't want to stay on very nicely. So if you have that, just kind of help feed it. These little wrinkles, don't worry about, they'll come out when you do stick on and put your thing on there. So I'm gonna hit next, and it tells me to move my guide plate, which again is this thing. That's fine, we did that. And we have the vinyl up to here. Now what you can do, let me get this little thingy off, is you can cut it straight. So we can put this on here. And if you need to have a straight line, you press this on here and you cut. Apparently my vinyl doesn't agree that it needs to be cut. All right, I may have to cut it. This is a weird vinyl because it's the car vinyl. So if you have troubles cutting it, it does need a nice straight edge to be loaded in. You can always take a rotary cutter and a ruler and do that same thing. So I'm just going to quickly do that since mine's giving me issues. But you do want that nice clean edge. Otherwise, it won't be able to pull your vinyl in. All right, so take two. All right, so I have that there. I'm gonna hit next. Already did the trimming. I think my trimmer is on backwards. Oh yeah, that's probably why I wasn't cutting. My trimmer was on the wrong side. So if I have it this way, with this on this side, that works a lot better. There, haha, that works now. So I'm gonna hit next. I'm all done with the trimmer. I can put it back on this side of my machine. I'm really bad at doing it with one hand. There we go. Hit next. And we want this to go underneath that little lip. Next. And we're gonna load the roll with our regular matte feed button. As I said, I'm probably gonna have to feed this. Usually your vinyl has a cardboard tube inside and it's able to hold itself in place. This one does not have that tube, so. All right, we'll hit okay. And now I can hit start to cut roll of material. Now this is where you're gonna have to have a design that works with this. So I'm gonna hit my USB because I should have a design on here. And I have a ton of stuff on here, so I'll have to scroll all the way through. There it is. So the reason why I'm putting out more flames is because I only put one side of flames on my car, and my husband is driven insane by the fact that my other side of my car doesn't have flames, and it's not even, so I promised him I'd cut out one. And I already had this mirrored. I actually did that in Canvas, so I don't need to worry about mirroring it, but it gives you an option to mirror if you need to. I'm gonna hit okay. Please select, cut. And then yes, I'm still gonna do a test because I wanna make sure that everything is good before I go through. And it should, because you have the roll feeder, it should automatically turn on your half cut. I think it doesn't actually allow you to not do it as half cut, but I could do a weeding box if I wanted to. I'm not gonna worry about that here. Cut speed, fine. Let's go back down though to an auto instead of a 3. I just wanna make sure everything's good. But it automatically turns on your half cut. You can't even turn it off. Let's do a test. Cuts up in that corner, should be good. So I'm gonna hit start, and it's gonna do just that test. You guys can kind of see that cutting. All right, somewhere, there it is. All right, it did, I accidentally shredded the triangle a little bit, but it did cut it. So I grabbed it a little bit too hard with the blade here. But there we go, it did cut it just fine. So I'm gonna hit start and let this go. So this is gonna take 3 minutes. So we're just gonna let this cut while I talk to you guys. And as you can see, you know, if I don't have that cardboard insert, I may just need to make sure it's gonna work. Kind of feed it and let it roll. There's also a little tray in the back of your machine that you can pull out and make sure it's out when you're cutting larger things like this. It's feeding in pretty evenly. It's a little scary to do really long projects. Now, if you were to set up, you had the Disney ScanNCut. The Disney ScanNCut actually has some extra roll feed designs. So if you go under roll feeder, there's some special designs built in, only if you have the Disney one. That was one of the big differences, is it came with all those cool Disney designs. I do not have those cool Disney designs, so I'm gonna show you guys how to make your own instead as soon as this is done. I just don't wanna walk away. We're gonna let it finish cutting. But it's pretty cool seeing it go in like that. Ooh, ooh, do I not have enough? Oh, I think I do. I hope I do. One thing too you want to pay attention to is how much vinyl you do actually have. before you cut one of these. So if it needs, for example, 3 feet, make sure you have 3 feet of it. I believe these go up to about 5 feet in cutting. All right. All right, we're all done. So what happens is it stops. So if you still had stuff on your roll here, then I'm going to hit finish. And I'm going to hit OK. And it's actually going to roll this back to what they call a trimmer placement. So once again, I'm going to take this little doodad, make sure my blade's on the right side, and put this on here. And it actually brings you about maybe ½ an inch away from the end of your design. So I would have this perfect little scrap to do something else with. And I can hit OK and unload the rolled material. And it comes out the other end. So these are all on here now. I can sit and weed. I'm probably not going to do that at the exact moment. But I could just start, as you can see, peeling all these parts off and weed all of this and get it all set. It looks like it cut pretty good.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
When you loaded the vinyl into the machine, how did you get that to go in?
Oh, I used the mat loading button.
I did, and it says mat not recognized.
Oh, are you under the roll feed? So when you, I'm going to go back to home. Let me close up on this. You want to make sure that you go into roll feeder here. You have to be in this screen and then hit start to cut roll material. And then as you can see, you have to bring in a design.
Yeah, you have to bring in something. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And if it's not set up in Canvas on the roll feed mat, it's not going to work.
Okay.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the computer. So you guys are welcome to unpin this video. I'm going to do a screen share. Now, one thing I'm going to warn you guys about the roll feed is you will need a transfer sheet long enough to take that off of that paper and stick it to wherever you're sticking. There's some really nice designs out there that you can use for really long stuff, like really long stencils, but you want to make sure that you have a big enough transfer sheet to pull that vinyl off and stick it, because I actually don't have any transfer sheets, so I have to order some. Okay, so I'm going to do a share screen.
What's the biggest you can do up to?
I believe it's 5 feet.
5 feet, okay.
Yep, let me just open up my canvas because it just updated on me. Yeah, I'll double check inside the canvas, it'll tell me.
My daughter just went and did one of those board and brush down in Mystic, where you put big item stencils on wood and stuff. So she wanted to know if my machine would make it bigger than 24 inches. Yes.
So I'm going to go under, I got to remember where it is. Artboard. I think it's under the artboard. You can choose different sizes. So you can do, and this, you can only set up the roll feed bundle on the downloaded version of Canvas. So I have the computer PC version. If you click on the little picture of the roll feed inside your PC version, it'll give you the one design they give you. So if you want to practice, there are these really pretty flowers. But your artboard, which on the bottom right is this little piece of paper. If you have like the zoom thing along the side of your screen, you might not be able to see it on my screen. But on the bottom right is a little artboard. If you hover over it, make sure you have it set to rolled material.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it looks like the biggest it goes on this screen is a 36-inch, which is 3 feet. So, you know, but usually if you have something that's more than 3 feet, that's going to be really hard for you to put up anyway. And then I could click on this example and cut that out if I wanted to. You can also create any of your own designs. So for example, I want to open up an SVG. Let's see what I have in here that's actually cute. Oh, look, it's a design I have on my mailbox. I could open up that SVG and cut out that. I could make it as long as this if I needed to. That looks really weird. But you can bring in your own SVGs. Or my favorite is
All we can see, Chelsea, all we can see is your Canvas project pattern and Disney page.
Darn it, okay. Hold on. Let me try the share screen again. I had clicked on it, but there. Do you guys see the canvas now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Sorry about that. So what you want to make sure that you have is your
Can you
art.
go back and show us how you got that to there?
Yes.
I missed, because we missed
Yeah, we
that.
couldn't see any of that.
All right, so when you open up, I'm going to go back to the way it was. Most likely you're going to see this, just like this. So when we want to change our background here, we have to change our artboard. And again, this is the downloaded version, not the online version of Canvas. So the bottom right, which if you guys can see this, is a little piece of paper. You may not be able to see it if you have your toolbar.
Yeah, we can.
Zoom. Okay. And when you click on that, they give you different sizes. You're going to go to rolled material. And that'll give you that big 36-inch roll design. And there are many different ways that we can pull in designs. If you click your Canvas, oops, got a pop up here, go away. If you click your shapes button, it opens up all these different shapes. And if you have the roll feeder activated, it should give you a roll feed picture. It looks like a little roll of toilet paper towards the bottom. And they give you this flower design, which I'm gonna show you guys with that filled in. So you can see what that looks like.
That's the one design you said that you can play with?
Yeah, that's the one design that they give you built into the canvas. So far, this is what they had us cut out at Brother a couple years ago when they had us training on this. We had a whole bunch of blue ones of this, which I don't remember what we did with. But this is a great practice one. However, you can do whatever you want. So I can open up an SVG file if I wanted to. When I purchased, somewhere in here, yeah, for example, this is the flames that I drew. I just grabbed flames and then made them a little bit longer. So there's that design that I have, and I can even go in and delete parts of it. I can also do what's called an image trace, which is that little clover-like button. And I'm going to go to an image in the computer. And I'm going to look for something to use. All right, we'll do this one. This is a design that I designed with Eric in mind. So on here it says trace outer edge only. I want to change that to areas by color, which means, as you can see, the inside of the taco now has blue lines. So it's going to sense all those inside shapes and outside shapes. I can hit OK, and it's going to put it right into my artboard. Oh, wait a second, I don't think it traced, did it? Huh. Hold on a second, let's try that again. An image in the computer, I gotta find the design again. That will do a different one. So this one again, trace images by color. It looks like it missed some of the lettering, but that's okay. I see what I did wrong. I left this checked off. It says paste the image on the drawing area. I don't like to do that. I like to leave the image off of the drawing area. I can change the amount of colors. So if this had a lot of colors, I can, you know, I'm going to change it to 2 colors because there's really not that many colors in there. There's only black and white. But if you had multiple colors, you can leave that. I'm going to hit OK, and there we go. So there's my design. It's rather small though. Let's say I want to make this bigger. I'm going to zoom in. I click my zoomy thing, and I'm going to click my pointer, and I'm actually going to remove parts of this design. I don't want the lettering.
If you had the lettering, you'd have to mirror it though, right?
Yes, you would.
Okay.
but I'm just gonna leave the spinning wheel for the time being.
Mhm.
And I can click on him and make him super big. You know, maybe you're doing a Sleeping Beauty themed room for a child. You can put these everywhere so they're terrified of pricking their finger. But there we go, just gonna click inside there. And you wanna make sure that your design is inside these red dotted lines because this is outside the cut area. If this was lettering, let's say I wanna make a banner. I'm gonna go to, oops, my shapes. I'm gonna go into the logos here. And let's say I wanna make a big banner that says autumn. I can do that. I can rotate this, and then I can make this as big as I'd like. So it's nice with the, you know, happy birthdays and things like that, because you can make a huge banner and cut this out of craft vinyl and just even stick it on your wall. Craft vinyl peels off. You can remove it. So you know those cute little vinyl stickers that they sell that are the family trees, or they say home sweet home, or bless this house, or something like that. My kitchen says, you know, get the heck out. Kidding. My favorite towel says, your opinion is not in the recipe. That's my favorite towel. But you can cut these out and stick them onto your walls and make your own custom wall vinyl. And with these bigger roll feed option, that gives you some options of how to design your own things.
Okay, so you said you could do it up to 3 feet, right?
Yep, 36 inches.
Yep. She'll be happy.
The nice thing is, let's say you're doing a huge banner out of fabric. You can't do the roll feed with this. You can always do the 12 by 24, and you can always split the design and have it, you know, one 12 by 24 and then the rest of it on another 12 by 24 and overlap it or something like that, or stitch it down, you know, with a split. So you can cut out some of the larger fabric ones on the bigger mat. Yes?
Do you know if they sell stencil material?
At Schiller's, I do not. There is a stick-on stencil roll. It's an adhesive stencil by Brother. I'm not sure if they have any in there, but they can always order it. Plastic stencils we can order in, but they only come, like where they're not sticky, they're just a solid plastic. They come in an 8.5 by 11, and I think you get 3 sheets in the package. But you can use any regular vinyl as stencil as well. The only difference between stencil, like actual stencil vinyl, and regular vinyl is that stencil vinyl is clear.
Right.
Now, does anyone have any questions about the canvas?
Chelsea.
Yes.
I have a question. They talk about they have another feature in the canvas with the tile and the for the building in the canvas.
Okay. I'm going to stop recording and then I'm going to show you guys, because usually it's about an hour and a half that I run the actual class. So I'm going to stop recording here and then take all questions.